My name is Shilly Boy, and guys, we always tell people that we believe in double trust model. But what is a double trust model? A double trust model will typically consist of what you call property trust and a family trust. But then, what is the distinguishing factor between the two? So typically, I always use, if you're familiar with what we call sovereign wealth fund, I always compare family trust and sovereign wealth fund. So typically what we do, we use family trust as a source of preserving wealth for very long term. So we normally park there paid up assets. We normally park there assets that we want to move them from one generation to the next generation. So it's a wealth preservation tool. It's the number one wealth preservation tool. So we'll keep things like endowment policies, we'll keep things like life policies for all beneficiaries, the parents, anyone else, the trustees. We put things like paid up cars, we put things like holiday homes, we can put things like expensive furnitures, your collections. If you're into collections, you can put there any after-tax payment investment like unit trust, preference shares that you might be. Some of you guys, as much as you're property investors, you may find that you invest in easy equity things. So you'll typically chunk and put them there. Right? So that's typically what family trust is. And later on, we've got a certain tax savvy principle, but then we can speak about that later on. So how do we then distribute that family trust to the kids? Because you may find that later on, 10, 15, 20 years later, your kids want to start their own families. How do we then move that family wealth to their kids in a more tax efficient? So we've got the formula on how do we then distribute that kind of a wealth in a more tax efficient way. So that's family trust. But then what is another thing, the fundamental thing, before I even forget, we never put any debts in it. We never ever expose family wealth. That's hence I'm saying it's a sovereign fund. Is there to safeguard the well-being of the family, so you don't expose it to debts. Now, what is a property trust? Here's our engine. A property trust is a wealth creation vehicle. It's there to amass wealth. It's there to go out there and create wealth. It's the one that is going to stand as a surety. It's the one that is going to take debts. Because we know that in the current financing system, banks are starting to even want some sort of a guarantee from the ultimate shareholder. And in this case, you may find that the ultimate shareholder is that property trust. So they might even want some sort of a guarantee. But then that's a finance optimization where some of our associates can actually better help you with that. So what is going to happen, you'll find, is that the property trust will be exposed a lot, will be more known to your business partners, will be more exposed to banks, will be exposed to various debt collectors. You may find that you've got bonds. Something goes wrong, some of your assets might be attached. So that's typically what a property trust, so it's going to be exposed. So it's a wealth creation vehicle, will ultimately own some of your property wealth companies. And there's always a tax planning that we do on how to then we move wealth from the property trust or these companies to a family wealth, because ultimately we want to transfer wealth from one generation to the next generation. So that's typically what a property trust and a family trust is. So we always encourage our property investors clients to say, listen, on your journey, as much as you might start with a property trust so that you create wealth, bear in mind that you need to, on a later stage, create family trust so that you start now building up that fund. Some of you guys like calling them emergency fund. Now, that's emergency fund on a steroid. That's something that you need to consider at a later stage. So some of you guys might be saying, you know what, Shilly Boy, I'm sorted. I need them both at the same time. So you can actually, from the word go, start with them at the same time. So that's pretty much the difference between a property trust and a family. It's in running, it's in how you utilize them. That's a fundamental difference. The content and the legality and the governance of everything is similar, but it's how, the merit is in how to utilize that. The tax planning that you apply in utilization of the wealth between the property trust and the family trust. That's where the type of investment, the type of exposure that you put between the family trust and the property. That's been said. Thank you so much.